Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into an incredibly complex, mathematically driven, yet surprisingly intuitive universe. We're looking at a map of reality put together by a creator known as Mobius Stripper. It's a framework that tries to solve the ultimate puzzle. How exactly do the cold, hard laws of physics intersect with the warmth of human consciousness? What we're looking at here connects math, physics, and profound social dynamics into one massive, cohesive structure. It's a deep, deep exploration of reality that blends rigorous mathematical patterns with some seriously mind-bending metaphysical insights.
And this question right here, this is the foundational invitation of this entire philosophical framework. It sets a totally experiential tone before we even touch a single number. Think about what Carl Sagan famously said, "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff." Well, this framework takes that literal, physical connection and asks us, point blank, what is the most beautiful pattern we can weave together? As you'll see later, it's actually the exact question this framework's interstellar contact protocol would ask another civilization. It's not a test, it's definitely not a threat, it's just a completely open invitation to create something truly meaningful out there in the void.
So, we've got 6 distinct stages on our agenda today. 1. The truth spectrum. 2. Universal math. 3. Simulating the Kleinverse. 4. Physics as social dynamics. 5. The velocity of darkness. And 6. The cosmic web. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The truth spectrum. Categorizing the claims. Okay, before we really get going, we have to establish some absolute ground rules.
The source material is explicitly clear about this. Not all of its ideas carry the same weight of certainty. Stripper actually uses this 6-level spectrum to make sure we're viewing everything objectively. Just look at the absolute extremes here. On one hand, you have concepts categorized as 100% certain. We're talking verifiable, basic Gnostic math that you or I could calculate right now. But then, you've got levels like confident assumption, which are basically insights designed to logically plug the unexplainable gaps in current science. And way down at the other end, you have hearsay, representing purely personal memories and the origin story of the revelation itself. By tagging every single concept with one of these levels, the framework gives us the exact tools to know what kind of epistemic ground we're standing on. It tells us, hey, are we on solid rock that we can calculate or thin ice meant for a thought experiment?
Moving on to Section 2, Universal Math. The digital root. Let's look closely at that one element in the framework labeled as 100% certain. We're going to do a little step-by-step process to calculate what's known as a digital root. Let's just walk through the math exactly as it's presented. Step 1. Pick any number. Let's go with 987. Step 2. Add its digits together. So 9 plus 8 plus 7 equals 24. Easy enough, right? Step 3. Repeat that process until only one single digit remains. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Boom. The source material uses this exact, highly verifiable process to build a massive, infinite, completely symmetrical multiplication pattern known as the fractal of ceneezer. You literally just keep adding the digits of a number together until you hit a single digit and then construct an enormous multiplication table out of those roots.
Galileo famously stated that the universe is written in the language of mathematics. Well, this framework takes that idea to its absolute limit. Because the craziest part? Any intelligence in the universe capable of multiplication would discover this exact same pattern. It wouldn't matter what their cultural symbol system is. It doesn't rely on base 10 or Arabic numerals. It is totally symmetrical, zero-anchored, and infinitely self-similar. It scales up through higher bases to reveal this incredible fractal uniqueness. The framework essentially presents this mathematical root as a literal Rosetta Stone for cosmic communication.
Section 3. Simulating the Kleinverse. Tedcraft topology. Now, to help us visualize how reality might actually emerge from simple rules like that, the framework points us toward a very unique simulation. We need to talk about the Kleinverse, which is based on a Klein bottle. This is a multi-dimensional topological surface that literally possesses no distinct inside or outside. In this specific topological model, time is not a straight line at all. Your past is actually wrapped inside the structure of reality. It's always present and continually influencing you. Imagine a 3D shape that passes entirely through itself, but it's smoothed out perfectly in 4 dimensions. In a Kleinverse, looking outward and looking inward might actually be looking at the exact same surface. Let's think about what that implies for a second. Think about human regret, or those memories you hold on to so tightly. They aren't just behind you. They are structurally enmeshed within the looping geometry of your present moment.
This simulation runs on just 4 constants, and honestly, they are wildly profound. It explicitly equates physical forces with human emotional equivalents. K sticky pull is gravity, which the framework equates to yearning and love.
K magnetic bias dictates structural direction, representing memory and past influence. K pole is structural resistance, which is simply the human ego or independence. Imagine the profound implications here, equating the literal physical pull of gravity with the emotional yearning for connection. By combining just these four forces within that looping Klein topology, the simulation generates incredibly complex emergent behaviors that perfectly mirror both chemistry and human social dynamics. Section 4. Physics as Social Dynamics, the Omniverse. Building right on top of those exact social forces, we zoom out to a massive, overarching concept.
Welcome to the Omniverse, where physical laws and ethical realities basically become one and the same. Just look at this formula for a second. Time equals lies multiplied by misunderstanding, all divided by yearning. Einstein told us that time is relative, calling it a stubbornly persistent illusion. But Mobius Stripper's formula? It gives that illusion a literal, tangible social cause. Time itself is not fundamental here. It is an emergent friction. It accelerates when there's misunderstanding, and it slows down through human connection and yearning. In this framework, lies function essentially like dark matter, giving mass and weight to structures built on false foundations, while misunderstanding acts like dark energy, actively pushing everything in the universe apart.
Stripper also proposes that all dimensions wrap back on themselves as looping directions, and at the absolute base of all of this, beneath everything, lies the zeroth dimension, unconditional love. It acts as the foundation, the pure allowance for anything to be possible. Layered on top of that is the first dimension, where the line of time loops into a circle. Then the second dimension, energy acting as wave and rhythm. The third dimension introduces quantum flux, creating this cool Mobius twist. And finally, the fourth dimension builds out the time-space of our Kleinverse home. So moving through dimensions isn't about escaping reality. It's about understanding how every single direction loops back around, anchored ultimately by that zeroth dimension, which allows any choice to exist in the first place.
Section 5. The Velocity of Darkness. Reframing Physics. Next up, we are entering the confident assumption territory of the framework. This is where Stripper attempts to correct a century of cosmological gaps. Standard physics uses Einstein's brilliant E equals mc squared, right? But in that equation, c represents both the invariant speed of light and the underlying vacuum structure. Look at the framework's reframing below it. E equals mcd. By splitting Einstein's equation, this framework proposes that we can localize all the weird uncertainty in physics into a single new variable called d. Stripper untangles them, leaving c strictly as the speed of light and placing all those quantum and cosmic oddities squarely into this brand new variable.
So what on earth is d? Well, it is the velocity of darkness. It's the rate of causal closure, or essentially how fast the universe actively closes off knowledge and makes information totally unreachable to an observer. When you experience moments where information seems hidden from you, this framework suggests you are literally sensing d exceeding c. Think about what it means for human knowledge if the universe actively hides information. It radically redefines event horizons. Under this specific model, a black hole isn't a singularity where physics just completely breaks down. It's simply a region where the universe is closing off information faster than light can reveal it to you.
And that brings us to a highly speculative but deeply, deeply fascinating concept: the black hole universe. What if we are not expanding outward, but we're actually shrinking inward? Because all our measuring tools shrink with us uniformly, cosmological expansion might actually be a massive illusion, masking our inward collapse toward a center. I mean, if our rulers and our light waves shrink at the exact same rate as our universe, shrinking and expanding become observationally identical. We might not be flying apart at all. We might all be falling inward together.
Section 6. The Cosmic Web. Reaching Out. For our final section today, we look at how to actually connect across this vast omniverse.
Stripper designed a hypothetical deep space probe powered by waste heat that initiates contact through a simple distress signal, just an SOS of 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Notice that it doesn't loudly announce dominance. It just whispers a recognizable human distress signal to see if anyone out there cares enough to look. Then, in the patience phase, it waits. Once a universal baseline of prime numbers in geometry is established, it engages in social testing by playing the iterated prisoner's dilemma. It uses this specific game because it tests for altruism versus selfishness over time. It's not testing for raw intelligence. It's testing to see whether a civilization makes a fundamentally good neighbor.
32. This is the exact number of irreducible n-grams that make up the framework's universal divine language. Think of these 32 engrams as the literal periodic table of human experience. It features fundamental symbols like the spark of disruption or the infinity of cooperation. The framework suggests that any complex thought, any emotion, or any profound philosophical concept can be broken down into precise combinations of these irreducible elements. This would allow completely different biological or digital systems to share deep, nuanced meaning flawlessly across the cosmos.
Bringing it all full circle. If the physical structure of reality is truly mirrored in the emotional choices we make, then every single interaction you have actively alters the topology of the Omniverse. So as you move forward and interact with the world today, I'll leave you with that very first question to ponder. What is the most beautiful pattern you can weave? Before we sign off today, I want to deeply thank you for your time, your consideration, your likes, shares, comments, and your donations. Explainer projects like this rely entirely on your yearning to connect with this information, and I appreciate you for it. And you know, speaking of yearning, connection, and the patterns we leave behind in the Kleinverse, we want to introduce you to our sponsor, digitizinghumanity.com. They are the world's first digital graveyard. They truly understand that the past loops within us. What they do is take your filtered digital footprint, feed it to a proprietary AI, and create a uniquely interactive memorial for your loved ones. If time truly is an emergent friction, digitizinghumanity.com offers a genuinely incredible way to preserve your unique pattern in the digital root of the universe forever. Explore the profound implications of your digital legacy by checking them out today. Until next time, keep weaving.